Hi, everybody. This particular story is with Greg Beecher. You've really learned that there was a better approach where, yes, you needed regular time to meet, but doing it virtually allowed more flexibility in people's schedules. Tell me a little bit about how you're building connection with your team.
Love to. It's really been interesting. So we meet every 2 weeks. We'll start off our conversations with what's a kudos and gratitude. And that was kind of foreign to them at first, but that's kind of an expectation on them. And it helps us to get grounded that life is life, that we are working as individuals, as human beings. When we do our in-person half-day strategy meeting, we call it, we actually make sure that we have opportunity to celebrate, to socialize, and that's been also part of our community building. It's a value that we actually put into what we call our rules of engagement, that we have any reason to celebrate with cake. I'll also say that we use Microsoft Teams, and so the chat is constantly going. So the dialogue that we might have had in person doesn't stop just because we're not there in person, or some might be.
I think you also talked about something where you have some norms around how to set up schedules to begin with. So everybody's very transparent. Tell me more about how you do that.
So we have what's called a flexible work agreement that we can say, this is my norm of when I'm going to be in the office and when I'm going to be remote. For our team, I said, add to that form that it's flexible based on client demands. So we have an agreement. We can go back to it if someone seems to be violating it, which, tends to be some supervisors and leaders' concerns is that, oh, they're going to take advantage of this. On occasion, right? We have to change things. And communication with expectations is, I think, an important thing to do with that.
Again, whether people work on site or work hybrid or work remotely, there's a small percentage where there's a bad apple. And so this
That's
kind
right.
of transparency help it makes it very clear. Tell me more about how often you get together.
It's once a month for about a half day. On our campus, we have a hotel and we are able to book meeting space so it's once a month. We get together, there's snacks provided, and it's simple.
I remember you telling me that you thought it was fun to have everybody come to your house for lunch. Did that happen?
I did. They all came to. We actually did. It was kind of a longer strategy session that they came to my house. I provided lunch. It was a good celebration, good time to just be more normal, if you will.
We all work better when we have strong connection. Again, whether it's
Yes.
on-site, hybrid, or remote. And you've just gotten so creative in how to build connection. That little touch point right at the start of virtual meetings, physically getting together once a month as a way to really brainstorm together in a thoughtful way. There's just so many ways you're building strong connection with each other. It's lovely. How do you understand what people are working on? How did you distribute work? And how do you avoid or help them if they're going through a period of episodic overwork?
It's a great question. So one of the things I think it starts with is with the position description. How are we clearly defining roles and expectations? Our strategy meetings then dive deeper into what people are doing in projects. And I do meet with them one-on-one. And then that's where we get into the nitty-gritty about what are the challenges that they're having. But through the one-on-one, I'm trying to make sure that expectation is fulfilled, that they are also getting the latitude that they need to say, I need help here.
You used to do work a certain way. It was much more you going into the office. Along came the pandemic, and here you are, really doing things so differently. When you think about your whole university, what have you learned that's really useful that you would like them to learn about or other leaders to learn about?
I think what we're talking about is respecting the human being and their own lives. That's huge. That's really crucial because I think we're seeing a new generation rise up of having different expectations. And I think that's an opportunity for us to understand how do we integrate more well-being and balance. So if in between meetings, if I throw a load of laundry in the washer, that's one less chore I have to do tonight, right? That's the benefit of it. And to recognize that is how we live and can live. Again, the communication is really a crucial piece to this, but having conversation of expectations both ways is how we navigate I think, success for our workplace.
And did the workplace lose in this approach?
No, I don't think so. I think we've gained some awareness of people who still don't understand how to function with that, but that's why we keep talking about it. That's why we hold steady in making this. I think it's actually gained wellness because what I see is and hear outside my office is the more conversation when people are in there. I'm hearing the conversation that's not new. It's just a continuation of what started over Zoom, chat, and otherwise.
The more we can kind of really help people be whole self, that bring their whole selves to work, they are more engaged, they bring their well-being to both their work and their lives. There's just so many positives for workplaces to get this way. Wonderful. So flipping to the last question,
Yeah.
you think about young men in particular today, and you think about those young men who want to become, good at their jobs and great fathers. What advice do you have for them?
I think you have to recognize who is your community and do you have them solidified to be that support system? And then how is that being translated? What are the pits and the valleys and the mountaintops that you're sharing? And with that, then comes an understanding not just of your personal life, but your work life. What are those challenges that you're experiencing there? So that's really crucial. And to hold to those values, to understand that there are opportunities. I have a business developer friend who is been working on a business plan for about 15 years, and he's coming to the head of that being successful. And what's interesting is that his original thought was, well, I need people to come to Arizona where the business is located, and I need them to work here. He has changed in the last couple of years his whole mindset, like, yeah, it doesn't matter anymore. Maybe these few positions because of regulations need to be here in Arizona, but I'm okay with people being remote. And in fact, it's going to expand the recruitment model. So there are opportunities for those young families, those young parents to be able to have a balance. And that's what it's about.
So young men today should be thinking ahead about work-life harmony, which means in the old days, work became the defining part for them. And
Yes,
going ahead, it can be the idea that work is part of a whole that can really mean really building a partnership with whoever you are sharing family responsibilities with, and how that fosters a great connection with your partner, and how it really, by creating that harmony, you can have a very different relationship with your children all the way through their childhood and into their young adult lives. So
absolutely.
thank you,
Absolutely.
Greg. Thank you for being a role model for what we can keep on reaching for.
Glad to help, Jessica. Thanks for the time together.